Music. Hey, good morning, America. Welcome to another edition of That Fantasy Show, Week 15 of the NFL season. I am the host of the show, your friendly local neighborhood YouTuber, Michael Amen, joined by
Brian Wilczek, and we got a couple little guests over here.
Archie Kai and Ella.
All right, welcome to the show, guys. What do you say we start the show how we do every single week with the Pledge of Allegiance? You ready, Ella? Let's do it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
America. Woo!
America!
I like to get my day started. How about you guys?
Very methodical on the delivery and approach.
Yeah,
of the pledge.
she's good at that. And we love our country. We love to pledge allegiance every day. I don't know why people stopped doing that as an adult. That used to be fun when we were kids.
Yeah, give you some consistency in your schedule, you know?
Yeah. Anyway, that's how we start. Well, since we got Ella here and we're joined also by my nephew Archer, what do you say we jump in, Brian, this week? We'll get Ella's pick 6 out of this way. So Ella's record last week, she went 2-4. Ella, that means you won 2, you lost 4. 39-43 on the season. We're just under 500. We're having a great season. Let's see how we can do this week, Ella. What do you say? Want to jump right into it? Again, Ella, we're going to do just like we did last week. I'll let you just announce who they are because, number one, that's cool if you're getting logo recognition this early. But also then, tell us what you think.
Yeah, hit us with your picks.
Okay, Brian, here we go. Who do we got here, Ella?
We got the Bengals and
It's a weird one.
a car thingy-majig.
I love that. That's the best content. Please, whatever you think they are, say that. Because we can't even imagine a car thingy-majig. Yes, that's actually their name. So it's the Cincinnati Bengals at the car thingy-majigs. Ella, who do you think is going to win?
Like I always do, I want you guys to see which one I'm going to pick.
I think this is obvious.
I already got my eye in the winner.
Yeah.
Let's just
Ella's
not waste
partial.
any time being that you're a Who Dey baby and just going ahead and tell the people Who Dey.
Bengals all the way.
Okay, sorry, car thingy-majigs. This Sunday
Thingy-majig.
is not your day. Okay, again, why don't you tell us who this is and what do you think?
The Kansas City Chiefs and the Broncos. But can I ask you a question, Dada? Why did you pick a hard one?
Well, first off, it's the Cleveland Browns, my dear. And yeah, I picked this one because I knew this would be so hard for you to pick.
Ooh,
who do you think
nail
she's going to
biter.
pick, Brian?
I don't know. It's the Swiftie coming through or the hometown Browns. We got Archer off screen. I don't know. Hit us, Ella. I'm stumped. I don't know.
My eyes twitching because I don't know which one.
I know this one's tough, and for our gambling segment, I also have a pick in this game, so that's crazy. Well, what do you think? What does your heart say?
My heart says Kansas City Chiefs.
So you're going to roll with the Swifties?
I guess.
Let's do it. Kansas City, book it. What have we got next? Again, tell us who this is. Ella hand selected this game as I was getting the pick 6 together. She said, I want to pick from this game. Who's the teams? Who you got? Jets and the Jaguars, but that's really close. Well, when you see it, tell us.
I feel like I've picked from this one before, and I don't remember who I picked. I'm gonna go with the Panthers or whatever they're called.
The Jaguars? Okay, foreshadowing gambling. We also have a selection in this game, but Ella will roll with the Jaguars. Brian, what do we got next here?
Ooh, we got a star and another cat. Who do we got?
We got the Panthers and the Cowboys.
There we go. You hit that one.
Panthers. Panthers is the winner.
Look it,
Panthers.
let's roll with the Panthers.
Sticking with the felines.
Ella also hand selected this
Cardinals.
game.
I'm just doing the Cardinals.
We don't even got nothing else to say. We just doing the Cardinals, huh? Okay, I think
Cardinals
there's
over the.
I think there's one more left. I'm not exactly sure.
Lions.
Oh, okay.
This is probably the biggest game of the week in terms of playoff implications down
As
the
I'll be
stretch. There's a lot on this one.
Well, I think she's bringing in her cousin Archer for this one, but for her selection, come on, Arch.
We have a theft of the Lion's tail.
Who do you like in this game, Ella? Tell us a little bit about it.
The lions. I got the lion's tail. Oh, what are you doing?
Archie wants to wave the tail too.
Well, that's going to
Give
make
them
the
a wave,
locals
Arch.
happy around here. As like Brian said, that's probably the game of the week this week. The Buffaloes and the Lions.
Coming
huh?
at you in the 4 o'clock time slot. Be ready for it.
All right, so let's
We're
see what
ready.
we got next. Was that 6? I believe that's 6.
That's the
We're going to
6.
round it out. Ella's got the Bengals, the Chiefs, the Jaguars. Was it the
Panthers,
Panthers?
Cardinals, and your hometown Lions.
We're down the field. Am I getting good at that?
You're getting good at
Okay,
it.
I'm
You
trying.
got the first line down.
I'm trying. Yeah, I don't know the rest, but
It takes
we'll
some
teach you the Who Dey song someday too.
practice. Okay.
Okay, so the Ella's pick 6, 39-43 on the season. Hopefully she can turn that record around. Just want 500 for the end of the season. Kid's doing well. So
Yeah.
6-year-old girl and knocking
the
it out the
teams.
park.
Getting involved. We like it.
Bye, people. Have the best day.
Well, thank you, Miss Ella. Round of applause. We had to get Ella's pick 6 out of the way early this week. They're heading to church
Don't forget
later.
Archie. Don't leave Archie behind, Ella.
So bye, Arch.
Just getting some off-camera action in.
And again, like I said, as we're a family show, we got stuff to do. These kids are going to be popping out, and it's a Sunday, man. We're busy. We got stuff going on.
Yeah.
Holiday season.
Yeah. I'm going to be pooping today.
yeah.
No context. Just,
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, anyway, as we move on to a quick recap of the last week in the NFL season, I don't know if you've noticed part of the theme this week. Brian and I are joining you from bye week as the fantasy playoffs. Playoffs are here. Brian and I are lucky enough to have caught a bye week in the Dynasty League, closing with Steve. And
we're on a permanent bye in the family league.
yeah. Yep. Oh, permanent bye. That's a great way to put it. Yeah. I'm going to win my next matchup. I just don't know when that is or who is on my team. Redraft League, we didn't do so good. Dynasty League, we are in the final 4 basically. This week we are going to visit with the other members of the playoffs of the Closing with Steve Dynasty League. But last week it was a nail biter as we had some close finishes there to get into the playoffs. It was kind of tight there. There was a battle for the overall points lead that
Oh, man.
it
Let's
looked
talk about that a little bit.
it looked impossible, but
I
whew,
think I was up by 200 points with 3 weeks remaining. And, I mean, that Cincinnati heavy team of yours, they were just going off.
I'm telling you, the offense
Holy
is
moly.
fire. For fantasy purposes, it's smart to have Bengals on offense. Stay away from that defense, though. But yeah, it's been a good fantasy season. When you look at the top leaderboards of overall point scores, it's kind of like shocking to think like where we were 14 weeks ago at the beginning of the season, and people that finished in the top 10 now. It's kind of unheard of, which lets you know when you're drafting a lot of that pre-draft analysis, not to like, say people are wrong, but it's obvious, the facts are the facts. Like, so you can project all you want, but you got to do some
Yeah.
research. There's a lot of guys that flew under the radar.
Yeah, I think that should be advice to anybody going out into a fantasy league. The rankings are going to help you if you know absolutely nothing. I mean, stick to the rankings. You probably can't be too far off, but like Mike said, at the end of the year, there are going to be a lot of surprises at the top of the way the year played out. So, I mean, just do what you feel,
Yeah, stick to your gut. Do some good old-fashioned research, and like I said, you can't believe everything they tell you. I always question everything anyway. I'm one of those guys. Question stuff.
Conspiracies.
Sort
They're
of.
out there.
Sort of. They are out there. But anyway, we were going to check in. What do you say you want to check in with our first guest before we jump into some fantasy rankings? We're going to, because obviously the Closing with Steve League has 2 matchups this week. We're going to look in on one matchup with a live guest. Then we're going to go over some rankings. And then we'll check in with the other matchup. We'll have live guests for that.
Yeah, let's get Ben Phillips back on the show. He was our inaugural guest. We got him back. He's made the playoffs in the league.
Seed number 3, Ben Phillips. Congratulations. Ben, picked number 2 last year, or this year in the rookie draft, and he finished number 3 overall. So that was absolutely great turnaround, as I myself picked number 1 and did number 2 this year. So congratulations to us. But we are going to look in with Ben, and then we'll go over into the browser and we'll take a look at Ben's matchup for this week in the Dynasty League and let you see what it looks like in a Dynasty League and playoff time. We'll catch some of Ben's brain, see what he thinks about some of this, and then we'll jump into some rankings after that, because I studied some rankings, Brian. I mean, it's playoff time. It's win or go home.
Oh, yeah.
And people are close to the money now. Now, if you're in a league, turn this up because it's intense. Close to the money, man. Everybody, you're 3 weeks away. If you made the playoffs, the money's close. It's right there. So you need any
Speaking of the money
motivation.
in a fantasy football league, it's not really the amount of time you put into it. It doesn't really. There's not a good ratio with the money, but it's pride involved, right? It's the
Oh,
pride.
yeah. No, you want to win. Yeah, it's fun to say you're the champ because you got about what 7 months, 8 months where you can walk around saying yeah. Especially if you're in a league with the same guys for the whole year, you're the champ. Brian, as you know, you're the champ of the Closing with Steve League, and you've held that title now for about 8 months, maybe more. I don't know. Maybe my math's off. Maybe the drinks are hitting too good. Bye week is playing good as I'm getting tropical here this week with the coffee black jersey. A lot of people get the Jackie Moon when they get a Flint Tropics jersey, but shout out Andre 3000, my favorite rapper. Coffee Black in the movie Semi-Pro. You ever seen that, Brian? Hilarious.
What movie is that?
Semi-Pro.
Oh,
Where this comes
Semi-Pro?
from? Yeah, Will Ferrell movie.
Let me just.
So what are we getting Ben loaded up there? I'll
Yeah,
do
we-
a quick Ben introduction. As we know, Ben Phillips was the inaugural guest on that fantasy show, and also he is the number 3 seed with his Santa Cruz Banana Slugs.
All right, let's cut over to Ben. See if
Ben
we-
Phillips. Hey, I love that shirt, Ben. First of all, let me
Yeah, it's
congratulate
awesome.
you on that. Ben, hold on one second. Let me get everything set up here as I'm evolved in this. Ben, how are you doing this morning?
Doing well, gentlemen.
Good.
I
Thank you
hope
for
it's not a lot of feedback. I don't have my headset on, so.
No, that's okay. Everything sounds good so far. And thanks again for joining us
All
this
right.
week. Ben, we wanted
Yeah,
to
no
look
worries.
we wanted to look in with your matchup here and preview what it looks like. It's playoff time, fantasy playoffs, and obviously you got a big matchup here. And we couldn't get your opponent on. He's out of town and it's busy, so it's just going to be you, but obviously the intent for this was you and the opponent to talk together, but since we've already got you on standby, yeah, Ben, we're just going to sit here and chat with you again for a minute. So
Yeah.
Bring the league up.
I tell you this much. Puka Nakua is a madman.
absolutely.
So-
I went against him last week. It was about a 40-point banger.
Oh my God. Speaking
So I
of
think I
that
got pretty
game,
lucky, no touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the main theme here is how many touchdowns can my team get? And looking at it now, I didn't realize that Josh Downs is now questionable for today. Uh-oh.
So how do you feel about your matchup today?
let's just
obviously
brief the playoff picture over here. So as we mentioned, both Mike and myself first round buys, and we have 2 other first round matchups. We have the Allenville Mean Machine versus Ben's own Santa Cruz Banana Slugs. Then we have the Las Vegas Outlaws and Miami Is. So let's just jump into the matchup here. Ben's going against Allenville Mean Machine.
Shout out Gary Vroom. He could not be with us this morning. However, his team is in the playoffs. He made the 6th seed. He was tied with a couple people, but total points got him the tiebreaker, and here we are. Ben, how do you feel for this week?
I feel like every week has been a struggle for me. I feel like I'm not feeling very confident.
I think you said that last time, and he pulled in a W. Pretty
Yeah,
good.
and that's
Yeah,
kind of
but-
opposite of your personnel. I've always kind of known you to be a more confident guy, Ben, so that kind of shocks me a little.
Well, my wide receivers are just lacking. I got Shakir. I mean, hopefully Shakir gets some touchdowns against Detroit, enough to make their the defense lower. We'll see. But, I got Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen is probably the most lackluster person I could have ever traded for. But I don't know.
I mean, you
I'll
got
be excited.
Odunze over
I'll
there
be
in
excited to
Chicago.
get into the finals if I do.
Well,
Yeah, I think you got a good shot there.
and obviously your running backs are phenomenal. Saquon and Joe
Yeah.
Mixon right there. Those are, two of the top 5 running backs fantasy purposes so far this season, and you got to be feeling pretty good about that. However, that team on the opposite side of you there, they can put up some points. How do you feel about his team and what you're up against? As you're still slightly projected, but Puka without even scoring still got him 17, almost 18 points. How do you feel about your opponent's team this week?
I feel like we're pretty well matched up here. You got Jacksonville and the Jets playing it. Garrett Wilson and Brian Thomas. We'll see how that game goes. I'm really hoping that it's just a defensive battle there, and they don't get too many points. Hopefully, it's just all running backs. I actually did pick up Isaiah Thomas. I was thinking about, or Isaiah Davis. I was thinking about playing him, but I'm not sure exactly how the Jets. What's the Jets' main running back? Is
Brees
he
Hall
hurt?
over here. He's actually on your opposing team's bench. Let's take a look at his status.
Yeah, we're gonna take a look as we got
questionable
yeah.
going into the matchup.
Yeah, so he's questionable.
Likely to play.
And that's tough. Like you said, that game that could go either way. That could be, two lower level teams. It could be a high scoring game. It could be another 10-6 game. I don't know. That could go either way.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
just
exactly how I feel with Minnesota and the Bears. It's just I feel like it's gonna be a defensive battle. It's hard to trust Williams right now, and Tua I think will most likely get a lot more points. It's just so tough to choose who you want to win with, and I would hate to leave points on the bench. I really would.
Especially at this point in the
Yeah,
season, right?
there's nothing worse than leaving some points on the bench. That's what really eats you up. If you lose and you put your best roster out there, you can live with it. But if you lost because of who you started, that eats away.
It's
at
kind
you.
of how I feel with our total points finish there because I had the points on the bench sitting there, and if I would have
yeah, you did.
Yeah, if I would have not let James cook, then I would have been the total points champion. But
And then I would have looked back at some previous decisions I
right,
made earlier.
right.
That
So
I left
those
points.
decisions obviously can affect multiple things. However, I'll go ahead and back you on your decision so far, Ben. I like Tua in his matchup today. So that bodes well for you in this scenario. And then obviously your running backs, I mean, they're just workhorses of the league, not just of your
Yeah.
team. Like most people would be lucky to have one of those guys, and you have both. So that's obviously your strength. I don't hate your receivers, but it's obviously your weakest. Your starting 3 in that slot is fine. It's just that your flex position, that's probably where you had the most decision who you were going to start there. Would that be correct?
Yeah, that would be correct. I have Trey Tucker. He's just big play dependent.
Yeah.
Wandale Robinson. The Giants are just complete trash cans. They're
Yes.
a dumpster fire over there. I don't know what they're doing.
I'll agree there.
And then,
That may be on purpose, though. They may be tanking, so.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it
see the
now, and
memes.
if Downs doesn't play 425, I got to make a decision here shortly. I got Bateman. I think Bateman would probably most likely be the guy I switch out for Josh Downs, but he's expected to play. So I love watching the game. I love the Lions, and I love watching the game and seeing my guy score. The guy that I have on fantasy. I got the main wide receivers for the Lions game today. So that's gonna be a good game for me. I think honestly, I've done it before where it's a Thursday night game. I'm like, oh, this guy's playing. Let's just play him just to watch my guy in fantasy. I know it sounds funny, but
yeah,
I like cheering on my guy.
That's a good point because you want to have fun. That's the whole purpose of all of this. You're trying to have some fun. You want extra interest in the games. And even besides your favorite team, if you're watching a game, okay, you're going to watch the Houston Miami game if it's available because you need Joe Mixon and Tua Tagovailoa to do something. So like that's the purpose of fantasy. It kind of grows more interest in the game. That's exciting. I'm glad you said it just like that. Are you available? Are you off today? You able to watch all the games? Because that'll be exciting.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be trying to watch some games. I just bought a new Lazy Boy for my birthday, so
congratulations!
Watching on the big screen here.
Well, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Ben.
When was that matchup over? If you could still take a look, Brian, most of those games will look like we're at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, it looks like, Ben, you just have one guy Monday. That's Keenan Allen, but the
So we're
rest,
not gonna know till Monday.
yeah. But I mean,
Okay.
you might, because Gary, his
When's
whole
Gary's
slate's done
roster done?
by tonight. So I mean, his latest
Okay.
game Sunday, 4:25. He's got a few people in that Buffalo Detroit game.
Well, again,
Short timeline.
Ben, like I just wanted to congratulate you going from, bottom 2 last year to top 3 this year. Just round of applause on that. That's the purpose of a dynasty league too. You want to build, and just because you're a bottom tier team, that doesn't mean you're actually a bottom tier team, because you could just been unlucky. Like you said, Saquon's situation last year was not Saquon's situation this year, so that would be
Yeah, just like
luck
Joe
and luck.
Mixon, uh, and that's exactly the kind of thing I wanted to touch on too. Is I'm looking ahead into the next year. That's why I picked up Isaiah Davis. It's because I liked the way he looked. That's why I picked up who else? Vidal, right? I picked up
Right.
Vidal too, and I just like the way he looks.
Yeah, that is the purpose of this. You got to look for the future.
And then thankfully, you texted us saying that our roster's locked in. So that's the only thing, Mike. I do want to bring up to you though is is our roster locked in if say Allenville does lose today, which I guarantee he's going to lose today. But if he does
Ooh.
lose, he has a couple people. It looks like he has a couple people on IR. Do you still keep those
Yes,
players
the
in
IR
IR?
spots, they still stay in there. So, but obviously they have to be on IR to be in the IR spot. So you can't just like
Spot,
manipulate.
slot,
Yeah,
same thing.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah. The drinks are going good here this morning, Ben. But anyway, so they have to be on the IR when you put it. So if Gary's season did end today and there's people in there, then it's legal, and then they'll stay on there until the new league year opens and we allow for ad drops. But last
Yeah.
year we didn't do that until after the rookie draft. So there may be a league opening spot where we can do some trades, because I know at actual NFL draft season there were a couple owners that hit me up to open it up for trades in case anybody wanted to do that. I can facilitate that, but yeah, it got me last season. I didn't know that was going to happen. I started somebody just for the last possible week, and then I didn't want to keep them for the off season, but instead they were on my team the whole off season. So yeah, try to be a good commissioner. I sent a little heads up. Oh hey, we got a little one in the background here.
Oh,
Ben,
Hey, yeah, want to say hi?
yeah.
Ben, it's okay. This is a family show. Hey. Well, hello, cutie.
She's
Yeah,
come
say
to life
hi.
off the shirt.
Hi.
Yep.
Welcome
Yep,
to
we
that
were,
fantasy show.
Celebrating Luna's 3rd birthday party. So.
Hey, happy
Yay.
birthday. Congratulations.
Yeah, she got a puppy dog for her birthday. A fake one, thankfully.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
I like your puppy dog.
All
wow.
right, go say hi to Mama for me, okay?
Well,
Say bye,
that is
Mama.
just wonderful, Ben. We appreciate that. Obviously, we're a family show. We have our kids on too, so that's our style, man. That's what it is. And again, I love your shirt too. That's obviously her on your shirt, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, that is just phenomenal. Yeah.
I
There's
think
nothing like the
I
dad
felt
life.
festive, I felt like a tropical vibe going on.
Bro,
It's
we must have been feeling the same thing. We were sitting here sipping umbrella drinks
Yeah,
and
get the
stuff, bro.
umbrella.
Yeah, no, it's rolling
Yeah.
up. Even
Yeah,
though
it's a chill kind of day for me. So
it's a wonderful chill day, even though the weather here in the Metro Detroit area would not reflect that, but you roll
One of
with it
those
around
cold
here.
rains, not quite snow.
yeah, it is nasty.
Yeah.
It is nasty. I almost feel like I coming down with something. We had a party yesterday. I woke up today sniffling.
Oh,
So.
snap. It's that season too, man. You got to be careful
Yeah,
out
man.
here.
Yeah, but in regards to fantasy, I just want my players to actually score, and
Ain't that
I'm
the
really
truth,
hoping
brother?
this is all by chance. I feel like I'll have, let's see, Barkley hasn't been doing much, 14, 19, and then he has a 46 bomber, a 33 bomber.
That could be
It's
what
like,
pulls you through. You never know.
Yeah.
That's why you got to keep them in that spot. You can be
Yeah.
crazy to take them out.
Yeah.
So, but
No,
I
no,
like
I
your
want to take him
chances,
out.
Ben.
No, obviously not. No,
Yeah,
but
no. No, you got a good chance, and we thank you for having you on the show, and good luck in your matchup.
I appreciate you, gentlemen. Anytime, I got every other Sunday off, so
Yeah,
anytime. So
I'm
maybe
sure
I'll see
we'll have you
what-
on again too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're leading the appearances on the show.
Yeah, you're great content too. Ben, again, we thank you, a big supporter of us, and we appreciate that endlessly. So thank you again. Ben Phillips, everyone.
All right, guys.
We'll see you, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Sure, whenever.
All right. Well, why don't we, Brian, jump into some quick rankings real quick before we get into. We have 2 guests for the next matchup. I got those guys
Skype
all.
conference call. We're gonna see how that looks.
Check it out. But if we want to jump over to some rankings real quick, because it is fantasy playoff time. As people want to get set up, they need to be locked and loaded, ready to go. Like I said, there's money or pride on the line. For me, I want to win the money, but the pride is pretty cool. But
We got the chat overlay. We got the browser.
let's go.
As always,
chat.
Fantasy Pros Weekly Week
What's
15
good?
PPR rankings.
I see my daughter Ella in the chat. Good morning, beautiful. Damien, let's party. We'll have you on here in a minute. Russ, there goes our father-in-law. What's up, Dad? We got you all set with your fantasy news. How's he doing? I didn't even check in that league.
Yeah,
Russ
the
is in the
family
playoffs,
league.
right?
His team is charging right now. He's got Barkley on his team, pretty sure. Jamar Chase. So he's got 2 of the heavy hitters.
Yeah, I'm
So,
rolling.
yeah,
I'm rolling
I'd be
with
afraid
Russ.
I'd be afraid to face him. So he could have if he wins, I think he plays Allie. We got a little daddy-daughter matchup in the playoffs to get into the championship game. So
How
that's
about
gonna be
Allie?
interesting.
Good season for Allie,
Yeah,
too.
first-
I'll give her a round of
Yeah,
applause, too.
first round
Congratulations.
bye.
Me, you, we were close in that league. Jamie, she was close. Jamie had unfortunate injuries, man.
Yeah.
There was really a good team there, and then it just fell apart at
Yeah,
the
we
end.
were really in it till the last couple of weeks. I mean, we didn't get eliminated. I think second to last week, the regular season. So it's kind of tough, but you got to take those losses, and that's why
Yeah.
you play more than one league sometimes. You know, you kind of don't have all your eggs in one basket. You can vary your lineups a little bit.
And that's why you want to play next year, because you're like, hold on, I ain't going out like that. Next year, I'm going to do.
I mean, look at your team
This.
though. You had a few Cincinnati players on both teams. I mean, you're missing the key piece in Jamar Chase, but
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
you could
anybody
be-
that had Jamar Chase is probably in the playoffs.
Yeah, you could have a similar team and have a first round bye or miss the playoffs. It's just you're at the mercy of the matchup sometimes.
Absolutely.
Anyway, let's get into it.
So as we get into the quarterback rankings, obviously the top few slots, everybody knows. I didn't want to highlight anybody in that top spot except for number 8, Mr. Kyler Murray. If you caught that fantasy show last week, I told you he wasn't going to do that good. He did okay.
Did pretty good.
He did okay.
Pretty good. I think if
Sorry
you
about
eclipse
that.
20, that's all right.
Sorry about that. I may have been a little off on that. The team didn't win the game. Fantasy purposes, he did okay. This week, his matchup looks phenomenal. And I'm not a hater. I think he's going to do really well this week. If you have Kyler Murray, his matchup at home, they're in a playoff positioning. Just everything lines up.
Yeah.
Obviously, coming off of a great week last week.
Playing a rough New England team.
Yeah,
Not
they're-
much going for them.
Yeah, they don't have much. They're looking for the tank. And then obviously right below him with Tua. That's a huge matchup today. Playing for pride. Tua's
Man,
rolling
look
right
at
along.
this 4-game streak he's on.
That's exactly what you
Holy
expect
moly.
from him rolling that. That offense is together. They're clicking. That should be a game with a lot of points.
Maybe the last concussion reset him a little bit.
I
I don't want to joke about that. But
it
it's hard
got
not to.
things rolling. So
Yeah.
and then that's the Tua that you expected for fantasy purposes. So obviously we love that matchup. CJ Stroud, his matchup. So again,
he started the season and last year he was just on fire, and then he's just kind of been in a slump.
yeah.
These numbers
absolutely.
are not impressive.
So
Better
it's
half of the year. I mean, there's
it's
a couple
consistent,
flashes.
but it's mid.
yeah,
You could get this kind of value pretty much on your free agent waiver
Yeah,
wire.
but-
However,
coming off the bye, you got a Miami team that could be a barn burner. You don't know.
absolutely. And then his receivers are healthy outside of Stephon Diggs, but he's got Nico Collins back coming off a bye. Tank is going well. The running game is rolling well. Mixon's rolling. I just think this is a big game. A lot of points, a lot of opportunity
Boomer
for
bust.
fantasy points.
Boomer bust. He's going all or nothing. That's what I'm
Yeah.
calling.
Well, even if his nothing is 11 or 12 points, that should keep you in your matchup, but
You would definitely be disappointed.
yeah, you're going to want the 20. I think he's well over 20 this week. So, outside of that, if we're going towards the bottom,
Good luck to you.
yeah. So it gets tougher around there. Aaron Rodgers, if you want to look down at 22, or wherever he is on this list, maybe
22.
So he had his first 300-yard game last weekend. How many games? I don't know how many years. They made a big deal out of it, but
still only 17 points. Even
exactly.
put up the 300
So
yards.
it's
only
kind of
one
touchdown
passing
dependent with him. But this is a game and a matchup today where, like you said, boom or
Favorable
bust.
matchup, yep.
You know, when these two lower level teams get together, there could be a lot of points, or it could be like Tennessee and Jacksonville last week, where it was 10-6, and we were like, "What the heck?"
Yep, another trash ball. This one
Yeah.
could have more points though, so keep an
Yeah.
eye out.
So, you know, if you're desperate, Aaron Rodgers is the name you would trust. Outside of that, again, the only person I trust is a name, Russell Wilson. I would trust. It's just consistency. He's a pro.
Been
It could be mid.
Exceeding the expectations this year. I mean,
It's a big game today.
Yeah.
We'll get to that chat here in one more second. I want to touch on one more quarterback ranking, but that chat is hilarious, and I can't wait to get to that. But outside of that, if you caught the show last week, we were heavy on Will Levis. I don't know his name, whatever it was, but I thought he was going to have a great week, and then apparently the consensus was that he was one of the most added players. He was one of the most started waiver wire pickups.
no, he's proven he's deserved to sit on the waivers and stay there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
if you got
so-
like a womp 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 sound effect,
So
play
again,
that.
I was wrong. I don't have that, but I have. Hold on, which one is this?
Oh, yeah,
I
good
was
enough.
like, hey, everybody, start Will Levis. I'd start Will Levis over Kyler Murray.
Hey, funny story. The laugh tracks you hear on like sitcoms and stuff, apparently those were recorded in like the 30s and 40s. So you're just hearing dead people laugh. Kind of crazy, right? I don't know if they revamped it for
Yeah,
us on
so,
our soundboard. But
You know, we could be wrong here and there, but apparently I was with the consensus with Will Levis. Didn't even know it, but anyway, he let me down. Hopefully some of those guys I said this week are going to be just fine. But anyway, the chat has a question. Brian, who is that in the chat with a question?
these nuts?
D's Nuts has a question for starting pick 2 running back, 1 flex out of James Cook, David Montgomery, Brees Hall, Zach Charbonnet, Ladd McConkey, Jalen Waddle, Adam Thielen. This is easy
tough.
for me. I'm ready to go.
I mean, for me, like Waddle, I'm taking him out of that discussion.
I feel like you can take Brees out of it, just given his injury
That's a
availability.
big gamble on Brees. I mean,
Yeah.
Charbonnet with Walker out, he's just been
Charbonnet is
killing it.
100% start. You can book that. If you don't start him, I feel like you're making a mistake.
Monty's tough just because the Lions' offense, you never know if they're going to be
Some-
pounding the ball. How much is it going to be Gibbs? How much is it going to be Monty? You know, St. Brown's been quiet for a few weeks. It might be due
Right.
for him to go off. So that's kind of a gamble. Adam Thielen's been going off lately.
So
He's a hot waiver ad.
I expect a lot of points, though, don't you, in the Lions and Bills game?
Yeah.
So I'd start both of those running backs, just hopefully touchdown dependent, with confidence. So for me, it's
Monty and
easy.
Charbonnet.
Yeah, Cook, Monty, Charbonnet. For me, it's easy. If you have something different, please tell them.
So you're putting all three running backs in. You're not
that's-
putting a receiver in the flex?
That's what I would do, because I would probably, because Charbonnet is going to get, basically points per reception. That
Yeah.
guy's killing it.
I
Waddle
don't know,
and
Cook scared
Thielen.
me because, with the way Allen plays, it could just take over the run game.
Yeah,
And it's
nope.
all passing.
Cook
Yeah.
is scary, but when he cooks, he does cook. Also in the chat, D's Nuts, if you can't see it, Charbonnet, McConkey, and Monty from Damian Grimm. He's made the playoffs in the Closing with Steve Dynasty League, so that's his opinion. Hopefully you can see that
Yeah,
on the screen
McConkey
there.
coming off the injury. So he might be fresh. He might be stale. Keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I have no info on him, so I got nothing to offer on that. So,
Part of me wants to just put Thielen in the flex spot.
you could be right there.
You
I'll
have
do.
if you're rolling, if you need to roll
Yeah.
the dice and really come out with the victory. My recommendation: Monty, Charbonnet, Thielen.
There it is.
Mike's got the three running backs:
Yeah.
Cook, Monty, Charbonnet. We got some chat discussion: Charbonnet, McConkey, Monty. Well,
Yeah, that's
we're
what
all
we
a little
got for
different,
you, chat.
But these nuts. Hope you take that.
Hopefully we can help out these nuts. That's
Yep.
just wonderful. Anyway, let's jump back into the rankings real quick. We'll
Back
take a
into
look
the
at some
rankings.
running backs real quick. We'll look at a couple receivers, and then we're going to jump right into the other two guests from the Closing with Steve Dynasty League
Oh,
in a
nice.
playoff matchup. We'll have both of those guys on this week. But for running backs, obviously, if you are rich and you have some of these top 10 guys, you're good to go. People that we
I don't
like.
know about good to go.
Who would you
I don't know.
disagree with
Chuba
in this
Hubbard's
top
had
10?
some turd games in here. I mean, he's ranked high, and I think it's, definitely because he has flashes of success, but there is risk
Can you
of
imagine
duds.
if I'm telling you at week 1 of the season, hey man, you're in the playoffs,
Chuba Hubbard's your guy.
but Chuba Hubbard is your running back. He's your RB1. And what would you tell me then, Brian? You'd be like, dude,
Yeah, you're crazy. But the way this
how many of
season's
those
played out,
infused drinks have you had, man?
you got King Henry at the top of the list.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bijan Robinson, obviously, I expect a huge day out of him. He's rolling.
Yeah.
And then Joe Mixon, as we were just talking
Mhm.
with Ben about.
Yeah, if you got any of those guys, you're rolling with them.
And again, Chase
Charbonnet
Brown,
going
not
straight to
just-
the top 10.
Not just yanking my own chain there, but, he's rolling. That Cincinnati offense is rolling, and then that's a matchup against a mid-team today. I expect huge points in that game today. But Zach Charbonnet, like we was just telling the chat there, I expect huge numbers out of him. If you want to pull him up and look at his numbers when he starts, it's ridiculous. He's starting again today. The guy he catches passes, he runs it, he gets a
Yeah.
lot of yards. When he
he's
starts,
a no-brainer. Of the
16,
squad.
24, 34, when he starts, those are huge numbers. And then even when he's a reserve,
Yeah.
he's still coming in and getting some
Look
work.
at the receiving line. Just the receiving
Yeah.
line by itself is
Yeah.
worthy of a flex spot.
So, like I said, I'm all in on him. That guy, and he's a guy I've had on the Closing with Steve Dynasty roster the whole time. Picked him up last year in the draft at the end. Huge on him. Again, other matchups today that I'm sour on. I don't know how Tony Pollard is always at the top of this. I know he's going against the Bengals today, but sorry, dude, I do not like you. I'm not seeing a lot of stats out of him. I'm not trusting my season with him. I'm figuring something else out.
Couple risky guys down here. Pacheco, he hasn't really shown the Pacheco that he was yet. Maybe he
Absolutely.
does that this week.
Don't you feel like he's touchdown dependent too? Like if he doesn't score, like it's not worth
Yeah,
it.
there's not a whole lot of passing out of the backfield lately with him. I think we saw it last year. They got him in the pass game, but I don't know. I don't like the Chiefs offense at all for fantasy.
I got more about that later in the gambling segment. I've done a lot of research on that game. I wonder if our guest is going to that game. We'll talk to him about that when we get to him. Damien goes to a lot of these Browns games, so maybe he's going to that. Maybe not. Anyway, some lower tier running backs. If you got to take a risk on a guy, man, good luck. There's going to be some backups. A guy like number 44, backing up Alvin Kamara, Keandre Miller, got a lot of talent. He's had some injuries and then some trouble issues. Not saying there's not a lot of stats there. There's not a lot of evidence to sit here and say, but there's always been some buzz about this guy. There's always been he can do something. Just in that game,
Could be your wild card if something happens.
yeah,
for
like I
next
said,
week.
if I gotta take a chance, even Tyler Algier, just on a backup, I'm worthy of that. I'll trust somebody, like
yeah, I wouldn't trust that specific New Orleans guy just unless something changed and you picked him up and you're just protecting for next week.
yeah, because
I wouldn't start him this week. You probably have some better option. Like, yeah, Algier should be out there. There's a few other guys in here that
Yeah, some
worth
people
rolling dice
are
on.
pretty thin at running back for starting this week, but hopefully you're healthy. It doesn't look like too many of the top people are out, so running back is fine. We'll take a look at receivers real quick. Obviously, receiver is a very rich position.
Man, again, St. Brown, he's in the top every week, but he could just go out and not do much. Let's take a look at his game log.
Yeah, we need to do that. Obviously, he's involved in the matchup with Ben Phillips.
3 weeks in a row,
Geary.
sub 10 points. He put
That
out a
means he's
33.
due.
It's kind of been a disappointing season if you took him in your first round and he was going to be your workhorse. He really hasn't done that for you.
Yeah.
I think I missed the playoffs in the family league because I was high on this guy. I've always preached I'm not going with the local team. I'll let everyone else go too high on him, and I fell for it this year. So
Yeah, I expect actually a huge game out of him. So
Yeah,
we'll see
he's
what happens.
due.
That game's gonna have points, so it's gonna come from somewhere, and he's due. Juwan Jennings, number 16 there.
Dude's been
I feel
killing it
bad
the last
because
few
the
weeks.
chat hit me up after the fact. After the show last week, I got hit up, and a guy asked me to start Debo or Juwan Jennings, and oh my god, I feel like an idiot. My apologies on air, bro. I went with Debo. I just expected him to have a huge game. He had
that whole
another
game was a mess.
couple crucial drops again.
Debo was just looking He's like, "Give me
Jennings
the ball.
got 2 touchdowns.
The ball's on the ground. So
But again, so for that reason, though, like I said,
it was hard not to recommend Jennings on that
yeah,
based on his recent performance.
that was tough.
But
But
I don't know, he's up and down. So
Jacoby Myers at number 25. That's another guy that we were high on last week after the fact, too, when we were chatting with a couple people. Just for sheer target share. Look at his, targets.
dude, still getting 10 targets, even with just 10-point stat line. But I mean, if you gotta plug him in, I'd plug him in. So
Yep,
I still roll with
absolutely.
it.
That's a guy I'm confident in if
Yeah.
I got to start him. And then obviously right below him, Jordan Addison. It's not the highest ranking, but
Oh, look
again,
at him last week. What did he put up? Holy crap.
the guy's having a ridiculous season. So
35 points last week.
and now you can trust him. Some of these guys that may have had lower numbers in the season, it's playoff time. You trust some of these guys now. Now is not the time to
Yeah.
be like farting around and taking a chance on flyers on receivers. There's value at receiver position, and you need to trust these people
Yeah,
now.
divisional matchup, hard-nosed battle.
Yeah, running backs can be thin, take some flyers, but receivers, you want to go chalk here. And, especially there's a lot of good matchups this week. So everyone should be fine at a receiver position, even if you're taking a chance on younger guys that, are expected to produce. This is the time now. So now NFL offenses are rolling, and I don't expect people to be laying down for anything. Even the teams that are non-playoff teams, these guys play for pride. They're still putting work on film. Guys are still looking for job opportunities next year. So, no, this is huge. We're rolling right along.
Tight ends. You got the usual
Tight ends,
squad at the top there.
usual suspects, and this doesn't really excite us every week.
It's scary if you don't have one of the top 10 guys. You're I don't know.
Yeah,
Few of
it's
them.
tough. All I'm going to do here is wish people luck. I'm not taking a chance on guys that haven't produced. I have no loyalty to any tight end. Look at people's last 3 to 5 games. Find somebody that's producing and go off of that.
All about trends.
Yeah.
Definitely look at the game logs. It might prime you for a potential bust or see if you're going to get something consistent out of a guy. But as always, fantasy is fickle. And all the research in the world is not going to help you.
Okay, so what do you say, Brian? As we move along, we're coming across the 11 o'clock hour here in the Metro Detroit area, but one of our next guests is joining us from Las Vegas. A little bit of a time difference there.
Yeah, we still got to get him on the Skype.
I haven't
might have to spell his name. I might have to search him on my end. Let's get him.
I don't even know his last name, dude. Pat, if you are listening, and also let me try to get him on the text. I know Damien is on standby, so we could
I'm not convinced he's a real person.
Yeah, Pat, until we actually see you, you don't exist.
You may be an AI.
He does exist. Fun fact.
He exists.
Pat is in my fantasy baseball league, and we are in the middle of our winter baseball owners meetings, and it's been fire. I got Freddie Freeman. Dude, I got Freddie Freeman in a trade. I couldn't be more excited. Let me, as I'm sitting here, try to get Pat ready.
Pat, if we have your full name, I can look you up. Otherwise, look me up. Shoot me a chat. We'll get Damien in on here first.
Yeah, let's get Damien ready, and then that way we can get some chat going here. So I'll turn up the
You
music.
think Damien's
a little bit
working
in the background.
construction today with the fluorescent shirt on?
Yeah, Damien. I wonder where Damien's he's probably got a jersey on today.
Okay.
I feel like he's going to be game ready. Damien may actually be going to the game today. Like I said, he does attend these Browns games, so.
Is that at 1 o'clock? He's got to get out the door here soon.
Yeah. Well, he's only 20 minutes away. He's not the biggest tailgate guy either. Tailgating's huge in Cleveland. But Damien will get there right when it starts. I think I hear Damien in the background as I'm going to make sure I get these voices.
There he
As
is.
we have Damien Grimm, the owner of the Miami of the Closing with Steve Dynasty League. How are you doing today, sir?
Going on, man?
Okay, we can hear you. That's wonderful. No audio issues this week. So we are trying to get your opponent on the line, too, as we want to preview your matchup here as it's playoff time. How do you feel about your chances here in the playoffs?
I feel pretty good this week. I mean, it did help that his 2 guys on Thursday night came out and pretty much shit the bed on themselves. Cooper Kupp especially.
Yeah, that Cooper Kupp dud is going to make a lot of people angry.
Yeah, 0 I do have him in another league, but that league doesn't start the playoffs till next week, so I'm absolutely fine with that for that league. But I, yeah, that was definitely a surprise. I thought that was going to be a high scoring game, a lot going on, and it ended up being a real dud. It was a terrible game to watch, and a pretty bad game if you had anybody in fantasy for that
Yeah,
game.
it looks like the projections
Took
got
in the
you in a
two, it
nail
was okay.
biter. He definitely dug a hole for himself with Cooper Cup and the dud. Kittle slightly underperformed his expectations as well. We got a lot of football left. Looks like
It's definitely still
yeah.
anybody's game, though.
I have heard from Pat, and we are on standby. Brian, here's how you spell his last name if you want to look him up, or he's
Hold on.
trying to add you.
All right, we're gonna switch off
And
Damien just for a moment.
so if you're getting that together, and I can just sit here and keep talking, Damien, as you're just on standby, we're getting everything queued up together there. Damien, if you can still hear me say something.
Oh, he's on here.
I'm
I
here.
see him here.
Okay, so if we can
Let's
just
see the pad again.
Damien, I'll just keep talking while we're getting everything. Pat, we're getting you ready to go. Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry, as we're rolling through. This is obviously a live show, and we're getting everything here together. But is Damien in the background? Obviously your matchup started out sort of well for you, but that Las Vegas team, that's a pretty strong team there, and you're in for it, and obviously blessed to make the playoffs. So congratulations on that. And again, you said you felt pretty strong about your matchup. Were you going to that Chiefs game today, Browns Chiefs?
I'm not actually going to that
Okay.
game. I'm not sure who's going to that game, to be honest.
Okay, I know there was a couple of people. I think my friend Juan's going. A couple of people going down there to the game. That's a big one. We're gonna foreshadow, and I got a lot of info on that for the gambling game. I usually I do some studying. I do lots of stuff Saturday nights before this show, man. I do a lot of cramming in, studying, getting graphics together. I'm getting good at the graphics, so that's getting
There's
easy.
a lot of Pat Leonards here in the Skype directory.
Oh yeah, so you can sit there, just text with him as we're trying to. Maybe it's under Patrick. I don't know. We're trying to get conference call. Obviously, we haven't done two guests at the same time. This is our first attempt at that, but I feel like that should be no problem for guys like us. We can figure that out as we go.
Yeah, he just sent the link to the generic Skype. Pat, we're gonna need you to
Just go
tell me what your
into-
Skype name is.
Single text him or single call him if you want. And
But yeah, the thing is, I don't know which one he is, and there's like 100 of them here. We have NASCAR Pat handle. We got Pat. Oh geez, we got PL Therapy 1 for Pat Leonard Therapy.
okay, well, we'll see if we can find him there. He's still going. Like I said, he's on standby, and it will be nice to chat with him because then we have two people in the same matchup. And like I said, Pat's a fantasy stud. He's been in that baseball league. I'm pretty sure he's been in there longer than me. I'm going on, I believe, year 7 this year. So, like I said, I love people that dynasty fantasy sports to me. It's just huge. It takes a little more than, just some luck. Obviously, redraft NFL leagues. There's a lot of luck involved. Anything can happen there. I want something where there's more skill. What's your email address? Can he find you by email address?
Just type my name in there, and you should be able to search it and send me a chat. Thanks for bearing with us while we work this
Yeah.
out.
Especially, but I feel like this is going to go well when we get it together here. We play some.
Maybe we should have did a test run, but that's okay. We're kind
It's
of
okay, man.
figured out on
Like I
the
said,
fly.
we roll with the punches around here. A lot of people don't expect much from us anyway. It's not like we have thousands of viewers. We have 100-ish. Appreciate all of them, though.
I did try to spread the word
Thank you for that, Damien.
some friends after my last visit on the.
We did have a subscriber uptick since we've had the guests on. That's been a huge addition to the show. We got some other things in the works for some other future guests. Obviously, once the actual fantasy season ends, we're going to do some content still. We're going to have guests. We'll still talk some football, have people on here and there.
Yeah, we'll hype it up in the off season.
Yeah.
We'll be on the shorts, the TikTok, as the young people call it. Yeah. So if Pat's on, just have him send me a chat, and that's how I'm gonna find him. We're working through it. Awkward silence. We don't have the background music.
Yeah, because if I do the music, then the music will be loud and then the guests will
Yeah.
be quiet. So let's just get a convo started and just text Pat anything that you need from right here. And then, like I said, we'll try to get Pat on the air. But anyway, Damien, did you have any decisions about who you were going to start or not this week? How do you feel about your matchup?
I do like my matchup. I have been kind of going back and forth between who I want to start. Right now, I believe I have Flowers in my flex, and I have who do I have? Taylor and Kamara as my running backs. Kamara is going to be my running back. I also have Pollard on the bench. I have Swift on the bench. Those are more or less my other two options, I would say, as far as potential running back / flex positions.
I do like Flowers. I'm a huge fan of him, but it's a tough matchup today. Philadelphia's got a good secondary, so
true.
It's a tough one. Who was your other options though that you said? I'm not in on Swift. I haven't been a fan of him with Chicago this season. I like the guy, but
he's pretty much rode my bench unless I've absolutely had to start him.
I'm big on Taylor. Was that Jonathan Taylor you were talking about?
Yeah, he's in my lineup currently.
Okay. Yeah, I'm huge on him.
Pollard is kind of my other potential option at flex, I would say.
See, now that's a guy I just brought up in the rankings, Damien. I was big on him at the beginning of the season, just expected a lot out of him. I don't know, maybe something's there I just don't see. I don't know, I just don't see it. I feel like I'm not really just seeing it on the highlights, or you're not hearing much buzz about him. I don't know, it's just like a boring season to me.
Well, that team is not good.
Okay, that's
as
a good
everyone
point.
knows. So it's a scenario where if they get down early, you're not going to get much from him. But if they're in the game, I mean, you're going to get probably around 15 points from the guy, which is not a bad number.
So he's pretty consistent.
Yeah. It's those games where they go down early, which is pretty much any running back. If you get down early, you're just not going to run the ball. That's the problem. And they are going against a team this week that can definitely put up some points.
Right.
So that kind of makes me nervous a little bit. But
right. So, we're
going to try this. I might have found Pat. Let's try to reel him in here.
We found Pat. Okay, this is exciting.
I got to figure out how to... Patrick is on. Let's try a different Patrick.
We are obviously working through trying to add my friend Patrick, who owns the Las Vegas Outlaws, and this is a guy who I've always liked his team. These guys that do multiple Dynasty League sports.
Oh, we got him on. We got to figure out how to overlay both Pat and Damien.
Okay, Pat, as you're on standby there while we get everything ready for on camera, I'm just going to do a light introduction to you, sir. Patrick Leonard owns the Las Vegas Outlaws of the Closing with Steve Dynasty League, and like myself, I was not in the playoffs last year, but has rebounded just like Ben Phillips and made the playoffs this year. So he can have a round of applause on that, because obviously that deserves that. As we're getting everything ready to welcome Pat onto the show. And also the connection here, Pat didn't close with Steve, no big deal, but Pat has been playing Dynasty Sports with me for, I believe, the past 6 or 7 years. I've been in the Jules Baseball League, and I was telling people, Pat, here on the show just a couple minutes ago that our Winter Baseball League meetings had kicked off, and it's been kind of exciting. I'm kind of pumped. I got Freddie Freeman this week.
Oh yeah, that was the trade you made. That was a good one.
Yeah. I was definitely excited about that, and you
Yep,
know,
I just sent Rooker over some draft picks because I was rebuilding. It was a tough year on
yeah.
my team.
And
Yeah.
I was right on the fringe there, and it was nice to get baseball going. Obviously, I'm a huge baseball fan, but more importantly, just fantasy sports overall, and dynasty sports for me are just top tier. And obviously, football and baseball are king for that. There's not much interest in even though me and Brian.
Hey, we got 'em
Hey.
both.
Okay, so
We
we have
figured it
figured it
out.
out, and we have both members of this week's matchup. So Pat and Damien, you guys are going against each other. Damien, we've been chatting with you for a minute, but we're gonna sit here and chat with Pat for a second. Before we get into the matchup real quick, Pat, can you tell us and our viewers how long have you been playing fantasy football?
Let me see. I'm 51. I was probably playing when I was 18, 19 years old, so a long time.
Wow,
Kind of a dinosaur.
so no, I mean I'm up there with you in age too, as Damien is as well.
Yes.
But we didn't start as early as you. We started in our mid-20s, so you got a lot of experience. I'm gonna give that a round of applause. That's amazing, Pat. If you had to say, you could remember how many championships have you won in fantasy football? And we count championships as leagues where money was involved.
I would say just a couple. It's been rough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It is. We've spoke on
Yeah.
that multiple times. It's hard. You can know this, you can study that, and you need a lot of things to fall in your place to actually win a championship.
And I think it's health too. Health is the key.
Yeah.
You draft people that are on the injured list all season, they don't help you.
That's a good point.
And that's what happened to me a lot, in both leagues actually. Health
Uh,
and underperforming.
how would you describe how your year is going with the Las Vegas Outlaws?
It went really well, surprisingly. Started out kind of slow, made a trade for a running back. I know running back's been a tough position to fill every year. And it's kind of solidified my team, and I drafted Neighbors, which helped this year. So just trying to build a really good team moving forward, and I'm glad I made the playoffs.
Great selection with Neighbors there. There was a lot of suspense when we were waiting on that third selection of the draft. And there was some talk that you were not going to take Neighbors. I was working behind the scenes because I felt like with the delay that maybe you were considering a quarterback at that selection. Would that be fair to say?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm from Chicago, so if Caleb was there, he would have probably been my pick.
Okay.
But he got taken right before me, so.
So then that threw you into a frenzy. You didn't know
Yeah,
what to do.
yeah.
Okay.
And then I had a team come to me about trading down, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this guy. He's supposed to be really good and
Yeah.
build around him.
Yeah, I was ready at 4 and 5 to make selections too. I thought you were going to select a quarterback there. I thought you may have been considering Jaden Daniels at that selection. Once Caleb Williams was taken, I thought we were going to have a run on quarterbacks there.
Yeah, I did consider him briefly, but now looking back, I wish I did. But I didn't think he'd be as good as he was.
Well, I like your selection of Neighbors, and obviously for the future, I think that bodes well. Brian, what do you
Yeah.
say? Can we jump in and get the browser on too? We wanted to preview your guys' matchup here real quick. We were talking with Damien for a second. How do you feel about this week, though, Pat? And obviously against your team and against your opponent here.
Right now, it's a little rough because Coop put up a big goose egg cup, so that hurts.
Yeah, that one was
That
tough.
That hurts the rebound from that. So unless he has a guy who underperforms, it's going to be tough for me to get back into this.
Well, you're still kind of there in the projections. I know those don't always mean much, but obviously you do
No.
got to deal with that 0 there.
Yeah, it's a big 0.
Were you in any situations where you weren't sure who to start, or have you been pretty confident with your guys and you're rolling with these guys?
Yeah, I mean, I was considering Bo Nix, but now I'm really upset with the Bears, so I said, screw it. They gave up. I'm going with Darnold. You should probably light him up on Monday night. And I'm trying to think. Yeah, Neighbors, I was kind of thinking about him, but I thought, DJ, maybe we'll do something for the Bears this week.
Yeah, and that's a tough matchup for Neighbors. It's
Yeah, yes.
yeah, I'd be a little weary of that selection too. How do
And
you
last week, their quarterback was what? He didn't do very well in the beginning of the game.
Absolutely. Damien, when you see his lineup there, how do you feel about the Las Vegas Outlaws and what you're up against? Obviously, we've talked about the Cooper Cup thing, but everyone else, do you feel like you match up well against that, or are you a little nervous in certain scenarios?
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. I am somewhat concerned about that Minnesota offense. Darnold obviously coming off an amazing game. Uh, chances of going back to back that great, slim, but they do have a really good matchup this week. Obviously, the Bears are kind of in the tank at this point. And running backs, I have Aaron Jones in a couple other leagues, so I definitely like him. Najee's been pretty consistent this year as well, so
And this is a matchup, obviously, that's going to have some suspense over 2 days because he has two guys going on Monday night, so or three guys there. So obviously, we're not going to know until Monday
No.
night. So this one's going to have 2 days of suspense. This one's kind of exciting. I have heard from Gary from the other matchup, and he cannot join us on air this evening, or this morning. So we're not going to be able to visit with him this week. But I'm glad we were able to get these two guys on. Man, like I said, we weren't at the top of the leagues last year, guys. Speaking myself, Brian obviously is the champion over there, but I was excited for this matchup because these two teams, I always felt like these were balanced. These are teams when I'm looking for possible trade partners. I look to these two guys first, especially Pat, your teams, Pat. Even with given how you run a baseball team, obviously that would make you good at this because I know what it takes behind the scenes for baseball teams. You're usually looking much further ahead than football. For fantasy baseball and dynasty, you got to look 3 to 5 years ahead with these baseball prospects. So I've always liked how you've set your team up, Pat, with younger guys or looking for the future. So and then Damian, obviously me and you go way back. I know how your mindset is when you're doing this. This was a matchup to me where I was like, this one's tough. Like whoever wins this, they had to earn this one. So do you guys have any last thing to say, maybe to each other, about your matchup?
I just wish you luck, bud. May the best team win.
I wish you luck as well. I mean, I can't say I don't hope I win. If you win, I wouldn't be too mad. I'm in the playoffs in other leagues, so as long as I don't lose them all week.
Can
I'll be
I
okay.
ask you guys this? Would you say, yes or no, you have had fun playing fantasy football this season?
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
It's been a blast.
Absolutely.
I like
'cause
this league a lot. It's a lot of fun.
Pat, again, I thank you for joining this too. Fun story with Pat. I was saying, obviously, these are two guys that have not closed with Steve, and the meaning behind that, Pat, I'll just give you a short version. Most of us worked together in a restaurant with this one guy who would take forever to get out of there. So we'd be ready to go. He'd still be farting around for his last 5-10 minutes, and we'd all be wanting to go. The purpose is, if you close with Steve, you're never going to leave.
Yeah, Steve
So-
was a clock milker. He'd wipe the same spot on the counter while he's just texting on his phone for an hour.
And then when
You're
coming
doing
up with
everything.
a name for the Dynasty League, I don't want owners to leave. We want people to stay. I want to see how far we can do this. So hopefully we can look back in 10 years and be like, wow, remember the first years we were doing this? So I don't want people to leave. Obviously, it wasn't a requirement. You had to have closed with Steve, but you guys are great additions to the league. We love it. And personally, thank you for coming on the show. We're obviously an up-and-coming podcast. We're trying to do our thing. This was an element we were trying to add multiple guests at the same time. It looks like we figured that out. Can't thank you guys enough for joining us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. And I enjoy playing with you guys and look forward to playing for many years.
Awesome. Thank you, Pat.
Appreciate
I
it.
as well. I hope I can be in this league for a long time.
Well, we're not kicking anybody out. You're going to have to leave if you want to get
Yeah,
out.
be here
so.
for the long haul. Well,
So-
thanks again, Damian. Good to meet you, Pat. We appreciate having you on, and best of luck in your matchup.
Thanks, guys. Good luck with your podcast. It's pretty cool.
Appreciate you,
Thank
fellas.
you.
Thanks for tuning in. And we're going to jump over to some of our gambling recommendations next. Brian, I stayed up last night. I was doing some studying, but I'm ready to go. So if you want to get that drive ready, we'll get everything set up going there. Get this little transition going here. I did some studying, bro. Look at my record, though. Or our record.
You're hanging on to 50%. I've thrown a couple things.
Yeah,
in
now
there.
you're starting to add to it because, like, yo, I need some help, clearly. The last couple weeks, I'm not doing too good. The last 3 weeks, I think it's something like 5-8.
Last week was solid. 3 out of 4.
3-1 last week. Definitely plus money.
I'll take that.
Again, I pick plus money odds, money line teams too. So even though this is 53%, which is profit, it's still much more profit than that if you took money lines too.
Right.
But
All right.
I'm not mad at that. It could be less than that, but this is the first one. Brian, you sent this over to me. Go ahead, tell me a little about this.
All right, Miami Dolphins, Houston Texans. We got two teams that can put up a lot of points. And if you look at their average matchups, last 5 games, they're each averaging 28, 26. You put those together, you're over 50. So I mean, if you're just looking at trends and two teams do what they've been trending to do, I like the over on this.
Yeah,
one.
to me that was obvious math. You sent that over. I was like, let me do some research, and then I'm like, in the last 5, it's this and this. Hold on, that's way more than 46. I'm confident in that. The most confident in any of these bets. I'm confident in that.
Okay. Well, we'll be looking back next week to see how we
Well,
did.
like I said, hey, we're right sometimes, we're wrong sometimes, but I'm gonna stand on what I stand on, and I'll face the music. So this one,
Another one, Chiefs and Browns. This is a little.
this one's a doozy.
Ooh.
Okay, so this one,
We got a weather forecast here.
the weather. Look at the weather in our weekly. What's the
weather?
weather doing with Woody? It's going to be raining and it's going to be windy. And if you know Cleveland weather on the lakefront, it's not good for a football
Frigid.
game.
It's
not.
frigid. The ball's cold.
Yeah, it's not going to be like a exciting passing game. It could be. It's not likely. Like I said, I've been wrong. But one of my theories is teams aren't going to go the whole season with only one loss. Kansas City is sitting right now with only one loss. I'm just not buying into it. They may very well be on to a Super Bowl run.
I don't know. I don't think they're as good as everyone's giving them credit for. I mean, it takes a bit to squeak out that many games, so they got something going for them. But I don't think it gets them deep in the playoffs unless that voodoo magic is pumping strong.
And
like it
they're
has been.
involved in a lot of close games, and what affects close games more than weather? And as you see, I've studied the weather: cold, windy, rain. Just give me the Browns today. The Browns win random games too. They may look not good all year, but as
Are you,
earlier,
recommending a parlay here, Browns to outright victory.
so I got the stones to say the Browns would win. But to tell the people a smart bet, take the Browns in the points. It's a smart bet. Browns plus 4.5.
Browns plus 4.5.
That's a smart bet, but I got the stones to take the money line.
Oh, we got another one of my bets coming through.
Yeah, you sent this over, and Brian, I was like telling you before we went on the air. Okay, I got to try to find a reason. I got
Yeah.
to tell the people a reason. I wasn't as confident because not that I disagreed, just wasn't interested in this game. It's another ass bowl.
Well, yeah, that's why I was looking at it, and the spread was so tight, and the way the Jets have been playing, and the way the Jags have been playing, the Jags have really squeaked out. They've been losing one-score games to some really good teams this year, and you can't really say that for the Jets. The Jets, they're like, Rodgers finally had a 300-yard passing game last week, and it's just not been looking good.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, your little infographic we put up there, Mac Jones has never lost to the Jets. I mean, we don't want to get the jinx monster on our
Right.
side here, but I don't
So
know.
I did a lot of research. I was trying to study out what can I tell the people, like where they can like back it. The dude's just a Jets killer. He's 5-0 against the Jets. He's got like almost 1,200 yards against the Jets. He's throwing for touchdowns against the Jets. And then also Trayvon Walker, 5.5 sacks in his last 4 home games. And then their rookie cornerback is just, coming off his best game. I like the Jags in this game. You sold me. I kind of like the over in it too, but not as much to like sell the people on.
Yeah,
it.
that one's tougher. You don't
Put
know.
my name on it.
The other over, those offenses can definitely do that. These,
Yeah.
I don't know. You don't know.
But I'll take the Jags and the points there, and I'm kind of confident now. I kind of sold myself
Okay.
on it.
Yeah, I need to play some bets here. I've been
Okay, this
in the
one,
shitter, but
this one's not going to be popular around here.
ooh,
It's not.
you didn't prep me on
Uh,
this one. We
yeah.
got the Bills over here.
We may be in some disagreement. So again, same scenario. The points are safer. I have the stones to take the money line. But again, my main backing, because I think the Lions are great. I think they're on their way to the Super Bowl. And if the Bengals can't win the Super Bowl, I want the Lions to win the Super Bowl. However, only 6 teams in NFL history have went 15-1. ever.
I think this Lions team is good enough to do that when they're healthy. We've had some defensive injuries plaguing them. Some guys are back this week, I'm pretty sure. So, but if you look at the rest of their schedule, we got Bills, Bears, Niners, and then Vikings. And I think out of those four, if they drop one, it's this one.
It's this one. Absolutely. Because this is another good team. And then here's the thing, too, because not to sour on Lions fans. Sorry, again, I'm standing on this, though. You want to take a loss. Would you want to go into the postseason winning, and then be susceptible for a loss? Or do you want a fresh loss on your mind where you could be reamped and then go on the playoff run? So
I'm going to take the wins because they already got that sour Niners NFC Championship game last year. I think that's been fueling them this year.
So
And I don't know, the Stones on... I mean, I don't know. We might need to reel Dan Campbell back a little bit for the playoffs. Not to say going for it on fourth down like that has helped us, but...
Right. Well, what do you think of this possibly being a potential Super Bowl matchup?
It could be. I mean, the Bills have already shown they can beat the Chiefs. I mean, we have some competition over here in the NFC with the way the Eagles have been playing. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we can host an NFC Championship game. They got to win 3 out of their last 4 to lock in that number 1 seed in the playoffs, which is definitely doable. But yeah, you put more pressure on the last 3 games if you drop this one. So we'll see.
Yeah.
It's hyped up. The line at midfield is black for the first time ever.
Right.
I don't know. I got the Lions threads on. I got to show you the back of this.
Ready to go. Yeah, put that on the camera. Oh my God, yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, so again, I'm not to diss the Lions. I think they're great. Just, when you looked at the last schedule there, who are they going to lose to?
Yeah.
I think they win those other games that you said. I don't think a team goes. But if you're looking for stats and stuff, obviously these are 2 of the highest scoring offenses in the league. These defenses can put it down. They both have good running games. This is going to be a fun game. If you are a football fan in America, get to your TV to watch this game.
Could be the game of the year.
Yeah, not just saying that because I live locally. Like that's a game I want to
We
watch.
waited a long time for this kind of hype around the team, and we're going to live it up.
And then especially the local buzz. Like you said, the Lions have, most of my lifetime, they've not been good. It's a nice seeing around here, friends and family enjoying themselves, having a fun football season, because
The buzz
this is all
is up.
supposed to be fun.
There is a little, I don't know, sand in my shorts over the Lions season ticket prices. If you've been paying attention to the news in the last week,
I
they're hiking
did
them up
see.
nearly 50%. I know my tickets went up a huge chunk, and they try to say it's to cool off the secondary market, but all it is they're just trying to put that money people are making selling their tickets in their own pocket.
Yeah, because the secondary market ain't going away. You raise your price, that price is just going to go up. That's
Yeah,
just how that is.
You can't, I mean, the fans have been through a lot of downs, more downs than ups, and you can't just take a poop on them like that. So,
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. It's hard to get in there now. You just want to randomly go to a Lions game?
yeah. If
Minimum
anything,
200,
if anything,
minimum.
the secondary prices are going to go up because the
Yep.
people are already paying more for their seats. It's going to take more for them to let them go. So I don't know what you're doing, Detroit Lions. If you're listening, I doubt you are, but
Yeah, I gotta take my son to a preseason game just to get him in there because it's so hard. I
Shit.
said I want to get to those other ones, but some of those prices,
yeah.
it's a little ridiculous.
Well, with that, we're still rooting for the Lions. I want to get them. Let's go for that 1-loss regular season. I don't know, but
yeah, if that happens, I'd love to be wrong. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to be logical. That's all. I don't want to piss off my Lions family and friends.
yeah.
I'm just a logical thinking guy.
Well, we're about coming up on the hour-and-a-half mark on the show. We squeezed a lot in today. We took you through the pledge. We had Ellis pick 6. We brought in Ben to talk about a Ben and Gary matchup in our Closing with Steve Dynasty League. Squeezed our rankings in the middle there. We got Pat and Damian on. Thank you again for joining us. And we rounded out the bets, and I don't know.
Feel like we nailed it. We're trying to roll right along. Like I said, up and coming podcast.
Yeah.
We got
We're
some
working
things in the works, but
Working the technical details out. We're going to get this streamlined. I mean,
That
you
went
look at
well.
week 1, week 2, we leaps and bounds.
there's growth.
Thanks for sticking with us. Tell
Again,
your friends, like and subscribe.
we appreciate all of our followers, subscribers, supporters, whatever you guys want to call yourselves. Thank you. Bottom of our heart. Thank you.
That will be signing off.
Okay, good luck everybody in your matchups this week. I hope you win.
We hope you win. There's the logo. Leave it up for a few seconds. We don't cut ourselves off.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Love you, America.